Hi class, this is Miss Olson and our recording didn't work for our orientation. So this is going to be the Welcome to World Cultures orientation. Now, there's not going to be any interaction in the class because there is no class. It's just me and the PowerPoint to make up for the lost session. Um, what we're going to go over are just the basic expectations for class. What are we looking at? What is the class? How you can be successful in class, different policies I have, and then just extra information. So one thing with Class Connect is that we've got some expectations and rules. You've heard a lot about these in your other classes, hopefully already, but I just want to go over them one more time for the sake of my class. Do be sure that you have signed in correctly. This is the primary way we take attendance. Log in under your account, not your parents, not your siblings' accounts, your account, so that you can get your attendance marked off. Please be respectful in your chat. And this doesn't mean you have to agree. It just means you need to be nice. Be nice. Don't call names. Don't be mean. Always do something to help benefit other people. This also means don't be distracting. So if you love to type in random gibberish or anything like that, you're being disrespectful to the classroom. Please don't post personal information in the chat, and this includes links to websites or social networking sites like Discord or YouTube. You can do this on a smaller scale as individuals. There will be opportunities if you stay after class and you're making a friend. Perfectly fine. We'll work it out. But don't do it in the main class. You don't know who's on the other side. It could be Susie or it could be Susie's weird uncle. And you don't want Susie's weird uncle to have your contact information. Inappropriate behavior in Class Connect will result in disciplinary action. So this could be really simple, like me saying, hey, stop doing that. It could be me taking away the chat privileges for you. It could be me talking to your parents or getting the vice principal involved or even the principal. It just depends on what you do. So, follow school rules. If you don't know what those are, check the student handbook. And if you ever have any questions during the actual sessions, make sure to put those in the chat box and I'll do my best to answer them. I might have to ask you to wait, but I'm pretty good about getting back to them. If I miss it, I may ask you to repost it, or you are welcome to email me. And all this will sort of boil down into three main rules. Respect times three, yourself, your classmates, and me. Make sure you communicate, join in, be part of the class, and stay on task, time on task when you do so. So who am I? I'm Miss Olson. This is my 10th year teaching with WAVA. I've been here a long time. Before that, I spent 1 year teaching in a live classroom. And then before that, I was in college. So I've been teaching, I've basically been with WAVA my whole life for my job. I am an artist, so I think that gives me a little bit of an advantage with teaching you about art history, which is basically what this class is. I've had a lot of experience with art history. Most of these 10 years have been spent teaching the original fine art class, which was an art history class. So art and world cultures is a little bit different, but not very different. So I've got lots of experience with it. My artist pet peeve, things that I don't like doing as an artist. I don't like clean technical work, clean lining, like with ink, not my favorite thing. But I do love to sketch and to color, and you can see some of my work down here. So I work mostly with digital work, which you can see on these two. But sometimes, especially last year when I started teaching the new version of the fine art class with drawing and painting, I also work traditionally. So this is charcoal. And I went to school at Western Washington University, so up in Bellingham. And this is a picture of me, a little bit old, but it's got a dinosaur in it, and I think that's on par with starting to learn about prehistoric art, even though the dinosaurs weren't around. It's kind of related. They're old. Prehistoric art's old. Um, so there's no poll available, but I just want you to start thinking about this if you're watching this recording. Have you ever been to a museum? And it could be an art museum or not art museum, doesn't matter. And I want you to think about your experiences there, and maybe what your favorite museum is. And if you need to pause the video, go ahead and pause so that you can think about it. And after you've thought about it, I want you to think about the sort of things that are included in museums. Artworks. What types of artworks? If it wasn't an art museum, maybe it's a natural history museum. What sort of artifacts? Notice art is included in the word artifact. How are they displayed? What sort of information is given about them? How are they grouped together? So these are all things that we're going to sort of address while we're in class. So I want you to bring what your previous knowledge might be in terms of museums. So what are we going to learn about in art and world cultures? Primarily art history. So we won't be making too much artwork. We're going to be learning about artwork that other people have made over the course of basically the entire span of humanity. So you're going to do a lot of reading. It's a history class. You're going to do a lot of reading. From what I've seen, the readings have lovely big images. They've got some descriptions about the cultures, and then they explain a little bit about what you see in those images. I'll go through and I'll be adding videos to sort of add to the reading lessons, because the reading lessons can be very hyper focused on details, so you don't get a broad picture of the culture. So these videos, I'm hoping, will help with that. We'll do some writing assignments, particularly discussions, to help you talk about the things that you've learned. There'll be various quizzes, and we have 2 art projects. So not a lot of art, but we do have 2 art projects. The first one is going to be a super choice-based art project. You get to pick basically everything that you do for it. And the second one comes at the end of class, where you get to explore one of the cultures you learned about, and you'll get to make an art project geared around that. So art history, art history. Now, how can you be successful in this class? This class isn't too hard as long as you do a few things. I hate to say this normally, but this is an easy A class if you keep up with it. So complete your daily work. Don't fall behind. Like I said, there's lots of readings. If you save them all up for the last minute, you're going to do very poorly on those quizzes and those discussions. So do your work daily. Make sure to do your readings. They're not very long. They don't take too much time to read through. So make sure to just do them daily. Look at the feedback that I send you for any of your assignments, whether that's a discussion or something else, and make corrections. I love corrections. It shows me that you're learning. For your quizzes, you'll have an extra attempt. Don't waste that attempt by immediately doing it first. Look at your results, and then go back to the readings, and then retake the quiz if you need to. But look at your feedback, make corrections. And then work your brain, put in your best effort, and communicate. So communicate in the discussions. Share what you've learned, share what you know, share what you've experienced outside of class. Maybe you've found a different resource. If you get involved in your learning, you'll remember things so much better. So just share your experience. And on top of that, when you're communicating, I want you to try to have some empathy and use your imagination. So here we've got a really great example of a cathedral. And sure, it's beautiful. You can see that the picture here is beautiful, but I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the cultures we're going to be learning about. So putting yourself in the shoes of the people in England way back in like the 1600s. You're in this church, there's no electricity. The sun is shining through this window. It's like magic, these colorful shards on the ground, and they're shifting and moving with the light outside. Or maybe it's nighttime and the candlelight inside is showing the colored glass and shimmering it across the outside world. It was an experience, and it meant something to these people. So it's easy to view it from a distance behind the glass. This doesn't mean much to me, but try to think of it in terms of how these cultures experience the artworks that we're looking at. So here's kind of a preview of what the class looks like. A few important things to note: the class plan. You should be using that. to figure out what's due during the day, what's due during the week, and what you might have missed. So you'll need to go back some days if you miss class. The class content. So these are the units. This is where all the readings are. You can click on there in order to work on the daily assignment, work ahead, or catch up on anything you missed. And then the class announcements, which I should update weekly. So make sure that you read those at least once a week. I have some assignment policies. They're really important, and I'm not going to tell you what they are. I want you to read the syllabus because I want you to know that it's all there, all of the information you need, and it will be there all semester. So you don't have to come to me halfway through the semester and be like, what do you think about late work? I tell you what I think about late work in the syllabus, so go read it. And you can find lots of information like the late policy, contact information, some file policy information if you ever turn anything in. I've got a unit list and there's just a lot more in there. So read the class syllabus. You can find it under content in the course materials unit. First thing you should do once you finish this orientation if you haven't already. Our Class Connect sessions are on Fridays at 10:30 a.m. I've already got them populated in the schedule so you can see what they look like. During Class Connect, we'll do a few different things, group activities. I'm going to try to limit my lecture. I really want it to be a time where we actually do stuff together since it's a pretty short amount of time every week. But it'll also be a time where I can look at what you guys have already done. Maybe we can clarify some things if things were confusing. We can review some things if we've got a big project upcoming, and you guys can collaborate. So I want it to be really interactive, and I appreciate any feedback you have for me. So if you think it's boring, let me know, but be constructive. Let me know any ideas that you do have for things that might be fun to do that would relate to class. So don't just come at me and be disrespectful. Remember, be respectful and share your ideas. And I've changed things a lot in the past. I do appreciate your guys' feedback. One note for the class plan. This is the class plan. This is what it looks like if you set it up to be a monthly view in one class at a time. I highly recommend it because you can see exactly what you need to do. You can click on the assignment. You can click through to the actual reading. It's just nice and easy and clean. So how do you find recordings if you miss them? Go to the class announcements and I will have an announcement with recording links. So if you miss anything, you're responsible for watching the recording and you can find the recordings in the announcements. This is something that doesn't seem to be an issue, so I'm going to skip it. Now, if you need help, there's a few ways to contact me. Email, it's the primary way, it's the easiest way. It does maybe take a little bit to get a response sometimes, so if you need something that's a little bit faster, take advantage of my phone number or text me. You are perfectly welcome to text me. I don't mind. You can usually get a quicker response that way, as long as I'm online. Raise your hand is a discussion, which you can find in the course materials section or in the discussion sections of class. If you've got a question that a lot of people have, I recommend going there and asking so that everyone can get the answer instead of just you. And then, of course, if you're really struggling and you need some extra help, one-on-one class connects or Zoom sessions, I can schedule those, but you'll need to email me if you want one. And my contact information is here. So you have access to my email and my phone number. I recommend writing these down just in case the internet goes out or your power goes out. You'll have those ready to go and you can let me know what's happening. So any questions? Contact me. Otherwise, I look forward to having you guys in Art and World Cultures, and I will see you during our class connects. Ciao.